Shalom from Karen B'Yavna. Presumably, we've all had situations in which we've davened about a particular issue, we've asked God for something, and the answer didn't seem to be coming as we would have liked it. How do we deal with, how do you understand, how are we meant to react to such a situation? A small but important part of the answer to that question perhaps could be found in the Ramban on this week's Parsha. In the Parsha we read that when the Jewish people's coming out, when they're leaving Mitzrayim, the Mitzrayim decide to run after them. And the Pasuk indicates that the Jewish people called out to God, V'yitz'aku b'nei Yisrael el Hashem. But immediately after, the Pasuk writes that the people complained, Hamibli ein kvarim b'Mitzrayim lekachtanu lemus b'midbar. They complain against Moshe Rabbeinu. Ramban points out there seems to be a little bit of a contradiction over here with respect to the spiritual level that the Jewish people were on. On one hand, they're praying to God. That indicates that they were righteous. On the other hand, they're complaining against Moshe Rabbeinu, which seems to indicate that they were not on such a high spiritual level. The Ramban suggests 4 different approaches. Number 1, says Ramban, perhaps these were different groups. One group called to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, one group davened, but the other group complained. Alternatively, he suggests that perhaps Vayitzaku b'nei Yisrael al Hashem doesn't mean prayer, but rather means kvetching, complaining. Alternatively, he raises the possibility that they believed in God and thus they were praying, but they thought that this fellow Moshe, he was acting on his own. The 4th possibility, which interests us now, is the Ramban suggests initially, in fact, they did turn to God. They prayed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that the Mitzrim should turn back. They should realize it's not a smart thing to run after the Jewish people. And lo and behold, nothing happened. Actually, something did happen. Mitzrayim continued and pressed the Jewish people closer to being in between the rock and the hard place, or in between the sea and the Mitzrayim. So the Jewish people figured, God has forsaken us. He's not listening to our prayers. When the Jewish people saw that their tefillos weren't answered, then they turned to sin, then they complained against Moshe Rabbeinu. Then their spiritual level went down as a result of their feeling that God had rejected them. In reality, of course, that wasn't the case. HaKadosh Baruch Hu listened to their tefillos. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in fact, did decide to save them, but not in the manner that they had expected. So we need to realize that sometimes we'll call upon God to provide a solution for our problems, but we'll sometimes write the script for God. How that solution is meant to come about. How will HaKadosh Baruch Hu save us? We should leave that up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Yeshua sometimes comes from an unexpected place. Rav Friedman relates that there was this fellow, a locksmith, that moved with his family to the city of Lakewood, New Jersey. And the fellow tried to put up flyers to tell people what a wonderful locksmith he is, but unsuccessful. One day he gets a phone call. The fellow says, hey, I want to be Mekayim Mitzvah Shavas Avid. I found your wallet. It's a locksmith, checks his pocket. I have my wallet. You didn't find my wallet. The fellow says, no, I found your wallet. It has it has credit cards. It has some money in it. So, okay, he says he found my wallet. I'll go. I'll see what he has to say, what he has to show me. So he drops by the fellow. And the fellow hands him a wallet. The locksmith doubles over in laughter. He says, this is my kid's wallet. All these credit cards, they're old credit cards. It had $7 in it. But there also happened to be there a business card. And the fellow that found the wallet says, hey, are you by any chance a locksmith? He says, sure I am. And do you have business? Well, I have business, but I don't have any business because nobody. Well, says the fellow, I build buildings and I need some good locksmith. So fellow now has Pardas is doing just great. So we shouldn't write the script for God. Sometimes what we do, our ishtadlus, we need to do our ishtadlus, but let's realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that brings the Yeshua. Have a great Shabbos.